She says Booster says, I'm pretty transparent. I don't try to do things behind people's back. I don't try to mislead. Um, she said in a brief interview Wednesday when asked about the intra-party conflict. Well, AOC is not being transparent either, saying that's not cool what you just did. What she did is she created a new policy that prohibits Democratic consultants and vendors from working for a primary challenger to a sitting incumbent if they want to be in the lucrative business of the DCCC. So yeah, the reason why the DCCC are such losers is because of all their consultants. They don't spend money on people who go out there, knock on doors, people who actually like interact with voters, organize town halls, like talk on phones, phone bank, what's it called? The word's not coming to me. Canvas, that's what it is. Yeah, like they don't spend money on any of that. All they spend money on is like 6 consultants that are paid like $3 trillion a year. And what they do is they sit in with the Democratic candidates and say, okay, so how are we going to target soccer moms who drive an Audi A5 sedan? How's that going to work? Because they're very important to winning this key swing district here in Pennsylvania's 5th. And that's pretty much where all their money goes. And they're well known in Washington as the consultant factory. Like, that's what they do. Consultants, like, all the time. It's their biggest thing. And Cheri Bustos only wants those who will say, okay, we're not going to work for anyone who's going to be primarying. Like these people don't work for the DCCC, they work for candidates, but they work with the DCCC, which makes them a lot of money. Because if they're part of a targeted campaign, then the DCCC pays money to them, pays money to the consultants, and that's kind of how the money funnel works, and the losing funnel works as well. Losing thousands of House seats, losing to Donald Trump. And yeah, that's pretty much how we are. That's where we are now. But pretty much what's happening is they're saying, no, you're only going to work for. It's pretty much a move to stop primary challenges, because you do need a couple consultants, especially if you're primary challenging like a big person like AOC. I don't know how many AOC was. I don't know if you're primarying people. I don't know how it works. I don't know how many primary consultants that AOC had. But what I think you don't need, what you do really need is some kind of consultant, some kind of help. And it's really a pretty effective, pretty dirty way to handicap primary challengers. So like they'll protect their own guys any day over protecting people like the anti-LGBTQ Dan Lipinski in Illinois, in Chicago. They protect any day people like him over people like AOC, who's literally brought so much new attention, so much new energy in the Democratic Party. She's done so much. She did more for the Democratic Party in 1 year than pretty much anyone in the past since 2000. Like she's been the most. That's all I can think back to right now, but probably more. Like she's probably one of the most impactful freshman representatives, like since like Barack Obama, and Barack Obama was a senator, so not even representative. Yeah, he was a senator from Illinois. Yeah, despite the outcry from some progressives, many Democrats have rallied behind Bustos, approaching her on the floor and privately commending her for being willing to confront the left wing of the caucus when others have cowered, feel fearful of becoming the Twitter target du jour. And yeah, this is again some kind of trademark political sarcasm there, and just taking dumps all over the new left, as they like to call it, because the new left is actually electing people left and right. They're putting new people out there. They're putting people like in state houses. They're putting left wing representatives in the House itself. Like four new people from organizations that were like 2 or 3 years old. They organized, they supported, and they did it with absolutely no help from the DCCC, and will continue to do it. Mark my words on that. This action will not cow them in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, the left wing doesn't just talk on Twitter. They organize, and let AOC, let Ilhan Omar, let Rashida Tlaib, let Ayanna Pressley be a real reminder of that. Please. Thank you. Bustos has indeed become a public punching bag for progressives, absorbing blows for the moderate and vulnerable Democrats. In return, Bustos has privately encouraged members to voice their support for her actions, particularly progressives who back the policy, according to multiple sources. So, there's no real progressives, by the way. Spoiler alert. This one we can put it go. Gotta correct you there. If you're a progressive, you don't back this policy. It's that simple. Cedric Richmond said, "We don't have time for games. We don't have time for hugs and kisses." Praising Bustos taking a hard line to protect the party's incumbents ahead of a difficult 2020 campaign. And the way it works is, the way it works is when primary challenges happen, your party is better. It's just that simple. Your party is more representative, more democratic of that district, and that's something that Democrats, who apparently people, we hate gerrymandering, right? We hate it. But if you actually want to try and make your a district more representative based on the views of the people in it, let's see. No, we can't have that. You're cut off. You're gone. Like it's so ridiculous, so hypocritical. It's frankly pretty sad. But yes, this episode kind of underscores Bustos' approach to the job as the DCCC chairman amid an ideological class that has defined the early months of the new Democratic majority. She is in the first line of defense in the Democrats' battle to hold on to the House, tasked with protecting more than 24 seats in districts won by President Donald Trump, including her own, by the way. So she's going all out. She's a moderate Dem. By the way, literally as no one has ever heard of. There's a reason why you know who Ocasio-Cortez is and you don't know who Cheri Bustos is, because Cheri Bustos has no personality, no policy positions, and spends her time not with the people, but with the donors. She doesn't spend time with the people, she spends time with her donors all the time, sucking up that money, and that's her problem. And that's the problem. That's the kind of person who should definitely not be leading the campaign to take back the House. All right, if we got already got the DNC's former chair saying, or DCCC's former chair, the guy who held a position earlier, Ben-Ray Lujan, I think his name is, how you say it. But imagine we got someone any progressive in there. It would be so nice to actually get some real principal progressives in there. That would be incredibly nice to see. So, Ben-Ray Lujan, he's known on Capitol Hill for being non-confrontational and eager to please, but she wasn't very happy with it. Lacey Clay, Representative Lacey Clay of, I think his name is Andrew Lacey Clay. He fended off a liberal primary challenge last cycle. She's upfront about her positions, and you have to respect it. Yeah, she is. She's one of the few people, it's actually nice to see that you have someone out there who just says, the left wing of the party, the only people in the party who anyone actually cares about, screw you. The only people in the Democratic Party who anyone actually knows, right? Anyone actually has actual popular support are Omar, you got AOC, and you got Nancy Pelosi. That's just because she's the leader. And that's about it. You're not getting anything from that. You're not getting, I'm sure they need more recognizable names, that's for sure, but a few more would be nice, preferably on the progressive side. But you don't have anyone else who represents the moderates, and that's why they don't interact with their people at all. They spend time talking to donors. They represent the donors. The donors love them, but the donors don't. They do vote and they spend money, but they don't really make their voices heard in a way that people can hear them. They make their voices heard in a way that people can feel them based on the policies that the representatives that they control will pass for them. That's kind of the way the politics works there. So this guy who fended off a liberal challenge, Lacey Clay, said she's brought a new perspective and she's sometimes need to change the way you do things around here. Well, that perspective, trust me, that perspective is not new around the Democratic Party. It's a losing perspective and it really sucks. Other lawmakers, including ones defending Bustos, have privately questioned her move to poke the bear, as one member described her swipe at the left, and putting in writing a rule that was essentially followed by the campaign committee anyway. So, That's interesting. So, yeah, I don't know if they were even able to get. I don't know if they were able to really get, like, people like progressives. They had a lot of time, and I remember in the 2018 cycle trying to get support from the DNC, the DCCC. They were just not getting anything because, of course, they were liberals. But nope, they are going to have apparently even harder time. And this pretty much this move, which is, again, it was interesting, was already in writing. It was already apparently decided, but Cheri Bustos, of course, had to put it in writing. Had to say, flip that extra middle finger up there, and really let everyone know how she feels. And the left will let you know, Cheri Bustos, how we feel about it as well. So yeah. Bustos said she wanted to lay the ground rules and follow through on a commitment she made when she ran for the post to do everything she could to protect incumbents. It's so nice. Some lawmakers specifically raised the vendor issue last fall during the DCCC race, according to one Democratic source. So we got a policy that the caucus supports, the leadership supports, and it plays in the long game. Of course, the caucus supports it because, here's the thing, the caucus is incumbents. Like, of course they're going to support a move protecting them, but it's important to make sure that the Democratic Party stays agile. Like, the primary challenge in the Republican Party all the time. That's why it stays agile, it represents, it reflects, it adapts, and it most importantly stays in power and is able to enact its policy positions. It doesn't lose 1,000 House seats. It doesn't lose to Donald Trump. It doesn't lose not 1,000, like 1,000 state legislature seats, governorships, lose to Donald Trump. It's not that unsuccessful. It wins in elections that no one thought it would win. It dominates, and that's the importance of having primaries. Like, it's a smart electoral strategy. It helps you keep in position with your voters, but it's people saying we've got to save our own jobs here, and we got to shut out any new dissenting ideas that are donors. And by the way, these people all take tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of big donor money. I know it. Like, I just know it. Look it up if you want, but you don't have to because I know it. They take tons of donor money. They're going to keep doing it, and that's just that simple. All right. We now turn to another very interesting, disturbing situation. Our president's brain is cheesy mashed potatoes at this moment. He backed away from his highly dubious threat to close the U.S.-Mexico border we talked about on the last show on Thursday, promising instead to do it next year if he feels like Mexico hasn't done enough to stop immigrants from legally attempting to seek asylum in America. Here's what he says on C-SPAN. Let's take a listen to this.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mexico. Thank you.
A lot of good things are happening with Mexico. Mexico understands that.
Yeah, so it's just he just keeps going and going and going. But what I'm going to do is you're not going to have to listen to him speak, right? But I'm gonna read it because that's the most funny. That's the funniest part. So I'm just gonna read this, presented without comment here for your enjoyment. Before we close the border, Mexico. We love Mexico. We love the country of Mexico. We have two problems. We have the fact that they allow people to pour into our country. We have to stop them. Border Patrol has been incredible. ICE has been incredible. Law enforcement's been incredible. The other problem is drugs. Mass amounts of much of the drugs coming into our country come through the southern border in all different ways. Much of it where we don't have walls. The walls are under construction, by the way. Large sections. We're going to be meeting, I think on Friday, at a piece of the wall we've completed, a big piece. A lot of it's being built right now. A lot of it's being signed up right now by different contractors. It's moving along very nicely. But we need the wall. But we need lots of other things. So we need help from Mexico. If Mexico doesn't give us help, that's okay. We're going to tear off their cars coming to the United States. The other thing is, because Mexico is such a big source of drugs, unfortunately, now we have China sending fentanyl to Mexico so it can be delivered in the United States. It's not acceptable. So the second aspect of it is, which you haven't heard before, is that if the drugs don't stop, Mexico can stop them if they want. We're going to tear off the cars. The cars are very big. And if that doesn't work, we're going to close the border. Trump went on to praise Mexico's immigration laws, the most powerful you can have, and later praised the fact that